As you may have heard, there's been a special transfer window opened up to allow foreign players in Ukraine and Russia to move to other clubs in light of the ongoing conflict. West Ham United has been linked with two players from Ukrainian Premier League side Shakhtar Donetsk. Here's a little bit of a fun fact about a strange coincidence. Shakhtar also has the crossed irons logo, the crossed hammers, on the back of their jerseys, as does West Ham United. Coincidence? Not really, because Shakhtar Donetsk originated from a working-class mining community in the same sense that West Ham originated from steelworks and ironworks. So they both have working-class connections. I thought I'd just get that off my chest as a little bit of trivia. But, like I say, West Ham's linked with a duo that plays for Donetsk. Now, we've been linked with Lassina Traore and David Neres. I think I pronounced the latter's name correctly. And both of them want to leave Ukraine because of the volatile and dangerous security situation. I have mentioned Shakhtar Donetsk players in the past on my channel. And I've mentioned the Ukrainian Premier League and the Russian Premier League. Why, may you ask? Well, it wasn't because of an obsession that I have with them. It's because I genuinely think that Donetsk has produced some very underrated footballing talent over the years, especially when we're talking about Brazilians. You look at players such as Bernard, Fred, Fernandinho, all of whom have played in Ukraine and gone on to be class players in the Premier League. So, hence why I talk about this league a lot. And there are so many foreign players in Ukraine that I take at West Ham. I did another video on it a few weeks ago. And if you want to check that out, just go back onto my channel and look at the scouting report section. Lassina Traore and David Neres both used to play for Ajax and were teammates at Ajax. But over the course of the 2021-22 season, they both ended up moving to Ukraine. Traore is a 21-year-old forward from Burkina Faso who is a cousin of Aston Villa's Bertrand Traore. Neres is a winger who joined Donetsk weeks before Russia invaded Ukraine. He's not been able to make a first-team appearance for his new club, and he's temporarily cancelled his contract at the club. Interestingly enough, Neres was one of many Brazilian Ukraine-based footballers to take part in a social media video begging to leave Ukraine and asking for the Brazilian government's assistance. Now, Neres, as well as many of his fellow compatriots, were able to flee to Romania on a coach alongside with their respective families. And because of this, it's actually put a bit of a spanner in the works, because not only have these players now been difficult to trace and track down, but Donetsk is now apprehensive to let them leave, according to a report from a journalist in Ukraine. I'll talk a little bit about the players as well in a little bit more detail. Traore made an immediate impression after he came to Ukraine. He scored 6 goals in his first 7 games, and he was part of a side that won the Ukrainian Super Cup in 2021. Let's just say that the Ukrainian Super Cup is like the Community Shield, as that's what I can tell as far as looking from the outside in. Traore plays as either a winger or a striker, and he is a goal poacher who is able to hit the target from inside the box. He's not the tallest player, but he is very skillful and technically gifted and quite physically strong. This could draw a comparison to Michail Antonio, although he and Antonio are not similar players really in terms of running towards the box, but Traore still has the physical aspect about his game. David Neres was a member of Ajax Academy from the age of 19. He moved over from Brazil to the Netherlands as a teenager and broke into Ajax's first team in 2017. He made 121 appearances in the Eredivisie and scored 37 goals. He was linked with a move to a club in China, but he turned it down to stay on with Ajax. with whom he won 2 league titles and was also part of the 2019 Copa America winning Brazil national team. Neres is very well suited to Ajax's free-flowing, wide and very advanced style of play. He plays to the ball rather with the ball, and this allows him to consider his options more. He either crosses or cuts into the box to create a chance. He's not the kind of player who's always going to do something that you expect him to do. For example, you expect Cresswell and Sofel to put in crosses. You expect Souček to head the ball when he's running into the box and is unmarked. You don't get that with David Neres. He has quite an unpredictable nature about himself, but it's a good unpredictable kind of nature because it helps teams out that he plays for. It helps him to be an assister. It helps him to be a goal scorer if need be. Both players are very desperate to move to another country. And I think when any foreign player moves to the Ukraine, he or she must consider the security situation in the country and the long-standing bad blood that Ukraine's had with Russia and how that might affect him or her. And I want to explain so without getting too political. When David Neres signed for Donetsk, he joined at a very tense time for both Ukraine and Russia. Little was he to know that the full-blown war would escalate and that he'd have to leave the country, leaving his belongings behind. He was staying in a hotel in Kiev. Shakhtar Donetsk hasn't been able to play at the Donbass Arena in Donetsk because it's occupied by Russian territory and has been for many years now. It's not really deemed a safe place to go to, even before the current conflict of 2022 broke out. So they've had to share a stadium with Dynamo Kiev, which hasn't been very convenient, but it's mainly safety being a primary concern that's forced that to happen. Neres and Traore have been buddies for a long time. They've both played together at Ajax. They've both played together at Donetsk. They're both going through similar emotions and feelings, and I'm sure they'd love to move to another country right now. As long as they can play football, I think that's still what they're going to be grateful for, as well as their families being safe. Clubs in Brazil, France and Spain have shown an interest in both of these players. I think there's not enough legs on this, but I wanted to give my thoughts on this regardless. Because Traore, even though he has had an injury problem, I think he still could be good if he stays fit. Neres hasn't really had an injury record, and I'd take him. But whatever happens with them remains to be seen. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Wheel and Deal. If you like this video, hit that like button and do not forget to sub for more content. Take care, everybody, and I will see you all soon.